All right, welcome to another episode of Off the Carousel, and I am now joined by the pride of Notre Dame Prep, one Kim English, new Providence College head coach. Congrats, Kimmy. Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
For people that don't know our background, which I think a lot of Providence fans do not, they'll learn now. We like to have a little fun with each other. I've known you since you were a Notre Dame Prep. I don't know what the nickname was of Crusaders or something.
We were the Crusaders. That's right. In 2007, 2008.
So I've known you since, how old were you then? 18?
2007, I was 18.
18. So I've seen
Yeah,
you literally grow up.
yeah,
Uh,
for sure. No doubt. No
as
doubt
a
about it.
kid to a hell of a college player at Missouri. We even had, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember we had either lunch or dinner or something when you were the Pistons?
Yeah, I do. I do. We did. We went to Birmingham. Yeah. You came to Columbia, Missouri as well. So,
Yep. So it's very cool for me to have you down the road, I will say, at Providence College. I didn't know if I'd ever see that day. Like, I didn't think you'd be the head coach at Providence College for some reason. I still thought you'd be playing at this point, to be honest, at 34 years old. And I want to start there because, to me, you're in the league. You could have played overseas for, I don't know, another 10 years, certainly till now if your body held up.
yeah.
Um, why? Why did you decide at such a young point in your career say, I want to get into coaching?
Well, it all just aligned perfectly. My lifelong focus was to carve out a career in the NBA. And, I got to the beginning of that dream, and it didn't last longer than a year with the Pistons in a training camp with Chicago. And it was never my dream to play overseas.
Yeah.
So as I was playing overseas, if I'm not into it, I ain't going to give it, my all. And the game, that's disrespecting the game. That's disrespecting my teammates. My dream was to be a very successful college coach, and I started working on that immediately when I got overseas, and I had to make a decision and weigh some opportunity because I could play overseas right now today.
Right.
I could probably play for another 4 years in Europe.
Hey, let's not push it. All right.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And but I had to decide if it was. I always knew I wanted to be a coach. I had to decide, was it best for me at 38 to try to come back and start coaching in America when all of the relationship capital that I had may have been gone. I didn't. But at the time, rewind, as I was 25 years old, my college coach was a head coach at the University of Missouri. Another college coach of mine was a head coach at the University of Arkansas. I had great relationships in the game. Some of the coaches that I was talking to when I was making the transition, Shaka Smart, Konzo Martin, Will Wade, Paul Lusk, Kim Anderson, some of the relationships that I had as I was thinking about, making the transition. And ultimately, I felt like it was more advantageous for me to do it at a younger age where I still had relationships with guys. Some of the players that I was going to be recruiting actually still remembered me as a player. So it ultimately was a decision that I had to make, and to give up my playing career to embark on a journey that I'm going to do for a long time.
Were there ever any regrets early on as you were kind of grinding it out as an assistant
No,
coach, or not really?
no, because I love basketball. I love basketball. So if I want to play basketball, I can play basketball. I didn't. It didn't feel any different to me playing in the NCAA tournament or Big 12 championships than playing a pickup game. I love to play, and I still get to play. I play in practice. I play with our guys. I work out with our guys. So, no, not one regret to in my career at an early age.
I tell everybody, you know, and there were a lot of people that thought, and I'm sure you heard it when you got hired at Providence, like, man, whoa, you know, what's he done to get that job already? How, you know, how could they hire Kim English? What, you know, my biggest thing for you always is you play the game at a high level. You're really good with people. You know the game. You're young. You can connect. I feel like right now, young people, and I'm calling you a young person right now, 34 years old, which you are. You're one of the youngest head coaches in the country, probably one of the young, you, Shire, maybe a couple others. You guys have an advantage over kind of the old guard and the old school because, number one, the old school guys are complaining about NIL. You guys are embracing it because I think you look at it completely differently. As, you know, I should have been paid when I was playing at Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's an advantage. You know, I think it's a lot of ways to, get it done. You know, I absolutely think that, we have strategies that we're going to employ that, help make our programs win and be successful. But no, I do think NIL is long overdue. I think that the players have deserved a piece of this pie for a long time. You know, some of my concerns are in other areas. You know, I want to make sure that these kids that, get to transfer without penalty are graduating when
Yes.
their
Yep.
eligibility is exhausted. I want to make sure that our athletes are, making sure their finances are taken care of and they're paying their taxes and they're investing their money and they're, doing things that are going to, make this opportunity advantageous for them for the rest of their lives. But no, it's an incredible opportunity. I'm really excited. I've got a really good connection with our group already. This community, this college, this administration, this city, Providence is a special place.
Listen, I know it well, and you know some of the fans don't love me, but they are so passionate, and honestly, it's one of the best atmospheres, Kimmy, that I've been to over the last 5-10 years. It is. I've ranked them, and I've said like Texas Tech, Providence, like they're in right now. They're in the equation with the Dukes and the Kansases and some of those places. It's a huge home court advantage. Let me go back to first when Nap Providence AD first reached out to you after Cooley left for Georgetown. What were your initial thoughts? I mean, were you surprised at first when you heard your name for this job after just 2 years at George Mason?
No, I was excited. I was instantly excited. I had a connection, at least as far as information gathering to the program. And Nat did an incredible job for first-year athletic director to be as on top of this as he was. It's incredible, to retain, to help us. He was on the front lines, interacting with the student athletes and getting the ball moving and retaining them. His innovation, as far as being involved with the NIL side, how our collective is operating. He's been great. But Rick Barnes and Dennis Felton all had intimate knowledge of Providence. Mike Tranghese, who I spoke with early on, got to tell me it was. I mean, and nothing against any search firm. I am friends with all of the search firm guys, but it was something different about Providence's process because Mike Tranghese had such intimate knowledge about the job and the city that got to answer questions that I had that no one else could have. So it wasn't surprise, it was excitement. And when I got to really learn more and I got to see this place, see the facilities, watch the players that were currently on the roster, learn about the home court advantage at the Amp, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, the facilities, practice facility is insane. Your office, is pretty nice. Everything. I mean, honestly, you must feel like, again, you've got everything you need now for the most part. Now, again, listen, the Big East is no joke right now. I mean, you walk into, to me, the most difficult league in America. I mean, really, you got Rick Pitino going to St. John's. You got a bunch of other programs that have been really good. Georgetown's going to be better. Georgetown and St. John's were the two programs that have been down over the years, and now they've both got kind of a jolt to them. What are your thoughts going into the Big East and how excited you are to coach against some of these dudes?
It's great. Yeah, I think the Big East and the Big 12 are the two best leagues in the country, and I'm really excited. You struggle to get quad one games at Mason. I think we were 1-2 in quad one. This past season, it's 3 games in quad one. Right when you're going up against where you're trying to get into an NCAA tournament where teams are playing 23 plus games in quad one and quad two. So, to have this many good games in the league, it's exciting.
Your team that you inherited, pretty good. I mean, you retained they had some talent and you retained it. And that's the key to me about getting momentum. So important when you take over a program, that you can get that momentum and keep it. Now, these days, again, we talked about it, NIL. There's other factors that play in that probably didn't as much years ago. But how important was it to get, some of these guys, Carter and Hopkins in particular, to come back?
Oh, I mean, it was of utmost importance. It was completely immediate. As I started to watch these guys, it was evident the importance of Bryce and Devin, Jaden, Pierre. I mean, Garway Duel was already committed. Corey Floyd. Keeping that core was very integral. That was a team that had the same amount of wins in league as the national champion. So getting to retain 2 all-conference Big East players, Bryce being first team all-league, Devin as tough as a player as I've been around, playing or coaching. It's very exciting to have that to start. And then fill pieces around those guys, but make no mistake that, those guys, plus Josh Aduro, Devontae Gaines is the core of our group. Jaden Pierre, retaining him was everything. I think he's so good. Getting Garway Duel, and Corey Floyd, who I love, and I think is going to have a really good season.
Talented. Who was it that you beat in one-on-one? Was it Jaden Pierre that you beat?
Yeah, that was Jaden.
So how much of that was true of you beat him, he stays? Like, what was the real of that?
Well, the real was Garway was in Providence. He has friends in Providence. So he was in Providence. He'd already taken an official visit here. I don't think we could have got him another official visit because he hadn't signed. So he was going to work out at like a local gym at like 8. But we couldn't watch him work out at a gym because of the rules.
Yeah.
But he could come on campus for an unofficial visit. You can always come to us. We can't come to you, but if it's not dead, you can come to us. So we said, all right, after the workout, come meet us up at the gym at 10 or 9:39. It was like 9:30. And so we were just up at the gym waiting to meet Garway. And Jaden is just always in the gym. So I just wanted to see who the ball was bouncing. And I just went out there and I just gave him the ball. And I was like, you're crazy if you're going to leave here. Like, the way we play, like our point guard, like you're crazy if you go somewhere else. And then he told me the other schools that were recruiting him, and I like was laughing at some of the other schools, like, and I said, play me one-on-one, and if I win, you stay. And he said, I can't do that. I got to talk to my dad. I said, no, no, keep dad out of this, me and you. And so he actually never agreed to it.
Really?
But he did check up. And we played. It was a great game, actually, and I won. And it was honestly, it wasn't meant to be this. I don't my social media. I don't like do stuff for the fans. I went live on Instagram. My Instagram at all my other places has always been like my private outlet. I don't have a lot of following on Instagram. I know my Twitter is very public. My Instagram is kind of like for me. So I go live on Instagram with my team all the time. But Providence's fan base is so rabid that someone seen it, screen recorded it, picked it up, and it got to Twitter. And then from there, it made a life of its own. And then thankfully, we eventually did get to keep Jaden Pierre in the fold as our point guard. So it all worked out. And it's a better story than the truth. But truthfully, I probably wouldn't have been, I was tired. I probably wouldn't have been in the office that late if it wasn't for getting to meet Garway.
Yeah.
Again, I've already met him.
Final score?
3 spots. He won the first spot 4-1 or 5-1. I won the second spot 5-2, and I won the last spot 5-4.
Wow. So it's close. It was close.
It was a great game. Great game. Great.
So what are realistic expectations? Do you even know? Because again, you haven't been in this league and everything flips over. So when I ask any coach this question, it's kind of a tough question for anybody to answer these days because all rosters are completely, it feels like almost all rosters are completely different from a year ago to this year. And a lot of people aren't done trying to figure it out. St. John's being one of them right now and probably plenty more. Do you know what realistic expectations are for year one, or have you thought about it?
That's not a difficult question for me. I have the same answer every season. You ask me that question, and it'll be, first I want to be the hardest playing team we can be. I want to be the toughest team we can possibly be, but I want to compete for a Big East championship. That's the expectation. If we fall short of that expectation, it was, and not to, what, Giannis said the other night, I don't want to contradict him, but, in my eyes, we did fail the mission. You can call it failure or not, but that's always going to be the expectation every roster that we build, every season that we have at Providence.
Have you talked to Cooley at all?
We spoke.
I know it's a tough question to ask. It's
not a tough question for me to ask at all. I have no quarrels with Ed Cooley whatsoever. None. I mean, I wouldn't be here if he didn't leave. I wouldn't. And he did.
How well did you know him? How well, Kimmy, did you know him?
Not great. I knew Brian Blaney more. Brian Blaney was a young coach at Loyola when I was coming up in Baltimore, so I knew Brian well. I sat with Coach Cooley at a prep school tournament in Rhode Island when I was at Colorado, and that was my only interaction with him. Face to face. We've spoken on the phone a few times. We've exchanged texts. He's been great.
Yeah, you probably didn't have the Notre Dame prep grades weren't good enough to get into Boston College back when
he was at Fairfield.
Was he at Fairfield when you were at? He was.
We played my freshman year.
Really?
We played Fairfield my freshman year.
I thought he was still at BC.
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
We played Fairfield first game in the Puerto Rico shootout.
Really interesting. What do people you have so many relationships again with, like you talked about, some coaches, media people. You've done a great job, I think, of establishing yourself with media, national media when you were a player. It was one of the things that always impressed me about you, that you kind of figured it out that way. What do people not know about you, Kim, that especially Providence fans, that they will, as a person more than as a coach?
I think it'll shine through pretty quickly is that I'm authentic and honest. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think or feel. You disagree with it, I'm going to tell you what I feel, and hopefully people respect that. I try to treat people the right way. And again, I'm going to respect is really important to me. I give it, I expect it. And yeah, I'm just authentic. I don't, there's no, I don't,
Not a
there's
lot of
no,
BS. Not a lot
there's
of
no,
BS with you.
yeah, there's no media strategy here. Like if if I interact with you, I'm going to have good eye contact. I'm going to speak with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't kiss the media's ass. I don't answer every text. I don't, respond. It's any relationship that I have is authentic and real.
Last question I have, just because we're both dads of girls, and you got two girls who are a little bit younger than my daughter. So as you go here, how old are your daughters now?
6 and 4. They're still in Virginia finishing up school. But they're 6 and 4.
What's the best part of being a father to two little girls?
It's honestly the kisses after games, the post-win kisses I get after game are like the highlight of my game day. It's such a good feeling. Winning feels good, but that kiss feels great through the, we'll see the arena set up at the end, but that's a great feeling.
Yeah,
and just seeing them grow.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch. Actually, it'll be cool for me to see your daughters. I have yet to see them and meet them. And again, just me watching you grow up and then now seeing you as a father. Those are the coolest things for me, to be honest, is watching you grow up and be a father and being a man. And, so it's
well,
fun.
Thank you. You were with scout.com. It was a long time ago. You were with scout.com.
That's right. I was. Scout. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was. All right. I'm going to put to go out. I'm going to put the Providence hat on for you. I'm going to put it on for you. And I'm going to get out there in person. I'm going to get out there in person and see you at some point.
Hold on, I'm going to get my so we can both. Oh, man. Edit that. I just broke a glass.
No.
There you go.
Right, there we go. We got it. And we're going to do a little dinner in Federal Hill at some point in August. All right. I'm going to drive down and if you get to Newburyport, Mass.
That's a bad omen. I had this hat. That is a bad omen. I had this hat over my favorite George Mason glass.
And you broke it?
Yeah, I just broke it. It's the George Mason's mascot that I think they should get rid of the Patriot. And they should go to Gunston. Gunston was the old mascot.
Yep.
And I had the glass. It was on a shelf in my bathroom as like a keepsake. I had this hat on the glass. When I took it, I just broke the glass.
My bad, man. My bad. Yeah. All right, listen. Go get another glass. And congrats again. It's good to have you an hour and change away. And get to work, my man. Get to work. Kim English, off the Carousel, Field of 68. Good catching up.
All right. Thanks, man.